That's not good. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Aces RC YouTube channel. As you guys can tell from the intro, the XRT is completely locked up. I was just out playing with it, and then I started hearing grinding noise, and now it's just completely locked up. So we're going to go ahead and then dig into it, see what's wrong. This is the first thing that has technically broke on the XRT. I'm hoping it's just a pinion or a spur. I did smell the motor. It was really hot. So I'm hoping it's not the motor, because again, I've only got like 3 or 4 runs out of this thing. But let's go ahead and dig into it and see what's wrong. So I'm first just going to start by removing the spur gear cover, which seems like it's just held on by two screws. So let's go ahead and get that taken off. Alright, got those 2 screws off. Let's go ahead and pop this cover off. And actually the spur, everything looks fine in here as far as I can see. And it's still, you guys can see, really locked up. Let me go ahead and get this motor out and see if it's actually, I think it is the motor. As you guys can see, look at that right there. That's not good. Let's go ahead and get this out and further assess it. Alright, so again, I've never taken apart the XRT before. And to get this motor out, I don't see any screws that are on top. So I'm just going to assume that they're from the bottom, which does seem to be the case. They're far down in these holes right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get these screws off. Alright, got those 4 screws out. And unfortunately my tips aren't magnetic. So when I tip this back over, those screws are going to pop out. So I'm hoping I can catch them in time. This motor should hopefully come out. There's 1. Got 2 right here. And looks like we have spacers that go where the screws go. So I'm guessing these just sit down in there, and then the screw goes on top, just like that. So we gotta make sure that we get all those. This motor should, in theory, come out. Yep, there you go. Oh, that's a big motor. I'm gonna go ahead and get it disconnected from the ESC. And unfortunately, that was the motor. You can see the truck is rolling just fine now. You guys can see. And this motor is very, very locked up and tight. Super tight. Which is sucks, because I didn't even upgrade the pinion on it. This is still the stock pinion that came on it. So this was not ran high speed. And it's already broken, less than a month. I'm going to go ahead and take off this pinion and take off this bracket and further dig into it. Alright, so I got the pinion off the shaft, and there is this little clip that sits on top of the pinion, but all I did was just use you can use a little screwdriver and get in these little crevices right here and just pop it right off. And then now looking at it, seems like we've got 1 screw up top for this whole bracket to come off. And what I'm thinking, considering how much metal is shaved off on this motor mount right here, is I'm thinking a bearing failed. Actually, we actually do have a bit of, I think this is a bearing casing right here actually. So looks like the bearing has completely failed on it, and the motor might still be good, but I'm gonna keep digging into it. Just a closer look at this bracket, where it sits on the pins. You can see it completely ate away at this top hole right here, especially this side. You see it even comes up a little bit. I think it's still usable. It just sucks, because this is the ultimate. This is supposed to be all metal parts, and this feels just super light and cheap. Like, there's no weight to this, and this is supposed to be metal or aluminum or whatever, and there's no weight to this at all. It's just that part in particular feels really cheap. Alright, well, with that being said, I'm pretty sure it's just this out shaft bearing. If there is one, I don't know how this motor works, but I'm assuming there's a bearing that sits right here, and this is the inner casing to it, maybe. This piece right here, and the bearing probably just failed and created a lot of movement. The motor still feels completely locked up, so I'm gonna do a little bit more research, get some parts ordered, and we'll get the XRT back on the road. After waiting for 2 weeks, finally got the part in, and got the motor completely out. Again, I've never done this before, so I'm just gonna go through it, take it apart, and hopefully it's just one of these bearings that exploded in there, and we can get it fixed up and back on the road. Alright, so the kit does come with two new front and rear faceplates. You get the brass bushing, some new screws, washers, and bearings as well. Let's go ahead and just dissecting this motor. Remove this rear plate, 2.5 millimeter. Alright, now that's removed, I guess I'm just gonna start from the rear. I'm gonna remove all 6 of these screws. Alright, now that that is done, I guess I'm just gonna pry off this front plate right here. It's actually just coming off pretty easy. Oh. I see that's the inside. Smells really burnt in there. I'm really hoping this isn't like the Kevlar that's wrapped around the motor, because if so, I'm almost certain it's failed. It's weird, this bearing, the bearing and brass is actually still completely intact. Now I'm a little confused on why this motor failed. You can see there's a lot of this black stuff in here. So I'm really not sure what it is, but I've seen other motors fail, and this was the exact same stuff in there. I'm pretty sure it's stuff that they wrap around the actual rotor itself. Let's go ahead and take off this rear plate. Oh man, it's just as bad back here. See a lot of that same stuff in there. Super smelly as well. Let me try to get this out, which I'm not sure how easy. Oh, it's actually pretty easy. Oh man, it's fighting me, of course. It is a magnet. Yep, and that is what seemed to fail. The rotor itself, I knew it was this stuff that's wrapped around the motor. It completely failed. Therefore, it wasn't a bearing issue at all, and it wasn't even a bushing issue at all as well. This was a complete rotor issue, which I don't think this is repairable. This is you can see it's just coming off. So yeah, that's what failed after about 6-7 runs on a $2,000 RC car. Now you gotta spend $250 on a new motor, running on stock gearing. Never mess with the gearing at all. It's part of the hobby though. So definitely not gonna run another stock motor again. I'm probably gonna go with either a Castle or a Hobby Wing. I just have to do some research on it and figure out what exactly I want to do from this point on. So yeah, that kind of sucks. I was hoping to get it fixed. Again, I bought that kit thinking it was it, but maybe I should have went into the motor first and actually seen what was wrong with it. But you guys can see that it's ruined. Here's a little inside for you. Keep in mind that this truck was ran on stock gearing, was ran on their Traxxas 8S batteries, and again, it was only ran. This is like my third video on it, and it's already broken. So it sucks, but it's part of the hobby. It is what it is. I'm not gonna be buying this shit again though, because there's really no fucking point to it. I'm not gonna buy it just for. I'm not gonna spend $250 just to have another part fail on me. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do some research and figure out what system I want to put in it, and that'll be my next video. I'll be putting in the new system and seeing what it can do. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Sorry it was kind of anticlimactic. If you guys have any power recommendations that you want to see, like an ESC motor combo that you want to see inside the XRT, go ahead and leave some recommendations down in the comments below. I'm also most likely going to be upgrading the pinion gear, because I'm actually not sure the stock one is, but it's just a little too small, so I'm going to be making the XRT into a speed beast hopefully, but that will be in the next video.